Irvingman, watches shows sitting on his can. Tells a story, tells a joke, monetizes cause he's broke. Look out, here comes the Irvingman.
The Scorpion first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man number 19. His name was Mac Gargan, and he was a sleazy private detective, the kind that was all over movies, TV, and other media at the time. Jonah Jameson hired him to find out how Peter gets those great pictures he takes, even though their deal says he never asks that question. When Gargan fails, Jonah sets him up with a local scientist. This guy injects him with some stuff that gives him the proportionate strength of a scorpion and makes him a costume complete with a mechanical tail that he can control with his mind, just as if it was an extra limb. That's where we pick up the story today. Why is there a granite block hanging from the ceiling, I hear you ask? Like I know.
Well, Jameson, what do you think of my creation?
Worth every cent I'm paying, Dr. Stillwell.
My memory fails me at this point, so I can't tell you why Dr. Stillwell wanted to create a human scorpion. Jonah wants delivery now, though the doctor says he hasn't finished all his tests. One test in particular will prove crucial, because after Jonah sets the scorpion on Spider-Man's trail, Stillwell will discover that his formula is also affecting Gargan's mind. Specifically, it's turning him evil. In the comic, he whipped up an antidote and took it to Gargan. He told him he needed to take it at once before the change became permanent. He was too late, and Gargan remained the Scorpion from then on.
Betty, I was just wondering, what are you doing?
Well, don't stop now. Go on.
This bugs me a little. By this time in the comics, they've already started seeing each other, and we hinted in an earlier episode that they have a thing going. So Peter's nervousness doesn't add up. At least it won't last long.
Miss Brent? At last. Thanks to a new weapon, Spider-Man will soon be no more. Spider-Man has had it.
Peter, where are you going?
I just remembered. I forgot something.
We call that How to Kill a Mood in One Easy Lesson. Peter changes to Spider-Man and listens outside Jonah's office as JJ describes the Scorpion and says he's out looking for Spider-Man right now. Spider-Man decides he'd better do a little hunting of his own.
Where can that Scorpion be?
Right behind you, Spider-Man. And you're finished.
He makes sure that sign doesn't fall on anyone, and now it's time to have some fun. Spidey covers the Scorpion in webbing, but he has claws that are designed to cut through that particular substance.
Don't you know the natural prey of the Scorpion is? A spider?
Tell me more, Nature Boy.
You're just whistling in the dark. It's the end for you now.
Convince me.
One thing that was consistent throughout the early years of Spider-Man was how much his enemies talk. He commented on it himself a few times, and I used to think all the talk during a fight was unrealistic, but there's a solid historical precedent for the idea. It took place in Tombstone, Arizona on October 26, 1881. We know it colloquially as the gunfight at the OK Corral. Check it out and pay special attention to how much talking happened during that. Constant chatter like we're seeing here doesn't seem that far-fetched anymore. Meanwhile, Dr. Stillwell has discovered the problem with his formula. He calls JJ to let him know.
The Scorpion is much more dangerous than I planned.
Good.
But he might go after anybody, even you.
And what do you know? That's exactly what he's doing.
That came from Jameson's office.
Don't come any closer. I'll pay any price, but don't hurt me. Don't!
Notice that Jonah is doing a Dr. Smith and hiding behind Betty. What he expects her to do is anybody's guess. But here comes that horrible, evil, criminal Spider-Man to save his quivering butt.
My extra sticky webbing will slow you down long enough for me to bring your tail to an end.
Attaboy, Spider-Man!
Call the police, Betty.
For some reason, suddenly he can't cut his way out anymore. And suddenly handcuffs are enough to keep him restrained.
No prison can hold me.
But prison bars aren't enough to keep him restrained. I'm not even asking, I'm afraid I'd hurt myself. Spider-Man goes out looking for him and only too late realizes he made a big mistake.
Wait a minute. I could be the prize chump of the year. Jameson's alone in his office. And I'll bet my liquid webbing that's where Scorpy is.
And he's right. He's the chump of the year.
And this time you won't be saved by Spider-Man.
You told?
There's the one you want.
Spoken like a true hero. But I'll still come to your rescue.
The real question is, which one makes him the chump of the year? Leaving Jonah unprotected or coming to his rescue?
Balls cue.
Operator, the police. Send them to my office. Quick! The police! They're not getting me again.
Apparently, something about the webbing is different this time, and they can find a prison somewhere to hold him, I guess. We see the police come, and then we see Jonah taking credit for the whole thing, as if that's a shock.
Listen to this, Parker. Fearless publisher saves his employees from deadly costume criminals. J. Jonah Jameson, longtime crusader in the public cause, again... Oh, what's your hurry, Parker? You haven't heard the rest of my story yet.
Some other time, Mr. Jameson.
He has to go change his shoes. The male bovine droppings are getting deep in here. I could never get that excited about Scorpion as a villain. I found him one-dimensional. It was no different here. That final defeat is less than satisfying because we don't know what's different now that made Spider-Man's webbing hold him and all the rest. In the comics, Spider-Man eventually defeated the Scorpion by getting behind him and ripping his mechanical tail off. Without that extra advantage, it turned out Spider-Man was stronger, faster, and smarter. A prison somewhere had built a special cell to hold him, and that was the end of that. I would have liked to see Spider-Man tear the tail off this time. Peter could have kept it as a souvenir, mounted it on the wall in his room. Of course, he'd have to tell Aunt May he doesn't know what it is, he just found it and thought it was pretty. If she hasn't been watching in the news, she might buy it. So I can't tell you why stuck Scorpion by getting him